We're here for office hours. This is the usual Wednesday session that I'll do with you guys, just to make myself available to answer some questions, maybe chat about a few different bits and pieces that are coming up soon. As always, if you're joining me and you're in the session right now, tell me where you're from. So just pop in the name of the country or the city or region or whatever that you're joining from today. Love to see where you're coming from for this session. I'll be here for, again, 15, 20 minutes max. So if you have any questions about anything really relating to Substack, to writing, to solopreneurship, to any of the things that I'm going to be doing very soon, maybe you want to ask a question about, I'm here now for you guys within my audience to answer those questions. So if you're here, if you have a question, anything you want to say, anything you want to pop into the comments, just do that now while I'm here. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to How to Write for a Living, which is up at the top. You should be able to subscribe there. But yeah, great to have you here. Mark is joining from Winnipeg. Mark, great to see you. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so as people maybe drift into this chat, and again, tell me where you're from, ask any questions that you want to while I'm here. This is what office hours is for. I'm just gonna first of all, I guess, answer a question that one of my paid subscribers put into the chat thread earlier. And then I'm gonna share something on my screen again. I'm gonna test this out. But one of my paid members, I'm just gonna read this off my phone for convenience. Peter said, he said, I'm frozen between providing timely updates on laws and regulations or best practices and industry trends on the areas that I'm providing consulting services. My content so far is inconsistent and not very informative, more FYI than insight. And then he clarified a little bit more by saying he's struggling with whether to provide timely content, sometimes as much as twice a day, that's just straight updates with a little bit of insight? Or do I focus on providing more detailed, thoughtful content that complements the consulting services that I sell? So that is a question from Mark, one of my paid subscribers that he asked earlier. And I guess, Mark, what this comes down to is really, I suppose, more the second point there. Do you just keep providing regular, timely content? So I think you said you're putting out twice a day at most. I'm not sure if you mean in notes or in an article. Twice, 2 articles a day would be a lot. I'm assuming you mean notes for that. Or do you focus on providing more detailed, thoughtful content that complements the consulting services that you sell? I wonder, could you do a bit of both, Mark, if it's possible? So, if, for instance, you are sharing that timely sort of just kind of update kind of content, if that's in notes, uh, is that the kind of stuff that you could share even once a day? Could you share a note once a day with a little bit of an update? And when it comes to law, it's good to see Peter there. I'll come to you in a second, Peter. Um, could you share updates once a day in note form, maybe even go live on Substack like I'm doing right now, and maybe share a little bit of stuff? And then could you maybe also be like once a week share a more in-depth in-depth piece that is more thoughtful, as you say, that complements your consulting services? I definitely think if you can share stuff that is really going to be um, informative and in depth and high value, but also laced with your opinion. So it's very much your perspective on it. Mark, I think that will be, or sorry, Peter, that will be a really powerful way of just conveying that you're an expert in your field, or at least you know more about your field than most people would. And then it's a simple, small step from that point to your consultancy services. So if you're able to talk about a development in the world in terms of law, in terms of whatever your expertise is in, you can then share your opinion on that. Here's what I think about this. Here's why I think this is a big deal or not a big deal or not something to be worried about, etc. And then say, if you want to go deeper into this, if you need some help with this kind of thing, with this aspect, um, here's a link to how you can chat to me in a one-to-one basis, how you can book me for a consultancy. So I think definitely, and this goes for everyone, if you are an expert in your field, if there's something that you can talk about in depth, um, and but they're also, sort of faster, sort of maybe not lower value, but just sort of quick fire information updates so you can share on a regular basis. I would save that kind of stuff more for notes, and then save the more in-depth, opinion based, or at least opinion laced stuff for your articles on Substack if you can. Blend the two. Use your shorter, notes kind of based content to push people towards your articles if you can. I don't think it has to be a case between one or the other. Definitely share a bit of both if you can. I hope that answers your question to at least some extent, Peter. And again, I'll answer more in depth maybe as well in the chat thread. But if you're seeing this later and it's helpful, definitely let me know, and maybe we can chat about it more. Okay, again, if you're joining me today, tell me where you're from. So let's see some of these comments say. So, Farmer Sam, great to see you. Still in Maine, fresh snow this morning. Super jealous on both counts. Maine is a beautiful part of the world. Love to go back there someday. And I'm very jealous about the snow because we don't have any of that here. We just got rain as always. Um, Peter Murphy said he's finished his book. Peter, that's amazing. I'd love to hear more about that. Tell us more about it. Pop it into the comments. What did your final word count end up at? Are you pleased with how it ended up? Are you excited? What's the next step for you after this? So tell everyone about that in the comments if you can. Michael saying cool hat. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. Avery currently in New Mexico in America. Brilliant. Susie's joining from sunny Texas. Michael's in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. Sherry is in AZ. Is that Arizona? Just correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think it's Arizona. Benjamin's in Nigeria. Peter, so 59,000 words. That's brilliant. That's a probably relatively quick read, not quick, but quick for someone who reads fast, I guess. Probably about the right length in terms of how long books are these days. I always skew the longer end, and I can't really stop myself from doing that. Wish I could. But yeah, 60,000 words essentially is a good length for a book for sure. And are you excited? How did it turn out? Tell me in the comments. Mark, so Mark said, can you speak to specific steps to developing a following? Is this something that just happens over time or through launch events? Really good question. So I think, Mark, if you want to develop a following, yeah, it is a little bit of that. It's a little bit of just kind of sticking with it over time. If you just keep, it's such cliched advice, but it really is, it's true, unfortunately. If you just keep showing up on a regular basis on Substack, on any platform, and provide a bit of value, be someone who lifts other people up, someone who people are glad to see appearing on their feed, be encouraging, be positive, you will develop a following over time if you're that kind of person. If you're so many people online these days just show up to be negative, to like attack other people, to spread panic and doom a lot of the time. You see this on social media everywhere you go. I think if you can be the person who's the antithesis of that, if you can share positivity and encouragement and value and actually help people, put other people first, that's really going to lead to people wanting to follow you, wanting to be in your sphere of influence. So yes, it does come over time. You can do launch events. You can do specific things to boost that as you go along. But I know that for me, working with the coaching clients that I work with, those who are developing really deep, in-depth followings with their audience are the ones who show up on a regular basis, and they share stories. They're vulnerable, they lift other people up. They share other people's stuff as much as they share their own. And I really do think that if you just stick at that for as long as you can, you really will start to develop real key followers. Again, that whole 1,000 true fans idea. That's all you really need to be successful longer term. So yeah, stick at it. Be positive, and you'll start to develop a following over time. Susanna, joining from southern UK and not too far away from here. Kate is in southwest London, again, not too far. I'm sure the weather is slightly warmer there than it is here in Northern Ireland. Mark, you're adding in, speaking of snow, we're here in Winnipeg. We're in the death throes of winter with several inches today. Well, enjoy. I do miss a bit of snow. We very rarely get that here, but yeah, I'm sure that's beautiful over there. Pete is going to do another revision of his book, but it's ready for feedback. I'm sure I'll need to do more with it. But that's great. That's a great place to be, Peter. That's a really exciting point to be with your book. Whenever you go back into that and you start going through it and editing it yourself, you'll be probably really amazed at some of the stuff you wrote. You probably won't remember writing it at the time, and you'll be like, "Who wrote this amazing passage in this book?" Mark, I'm glad that was helpful. Yes, Pete, positivity is key. Kate, it's beautiful and sunny here today in London. Great. Brilliant. And I see some other people here recognize in the comments as well. Great to have you guys here. Again, if you're joining me, because I've only been here for a few minutes, but if you're joining me, if you have any questions, pop them into the comments. Again, tell me where you're from if you can, and I'll do my best to address those while I'm here for these office hours. Take a little sip of coffee. Okay. Um, Something I want to pop up on the screen just while I'm here, while I'm answering some comments. Let's see how to do this properly. Okay, so this is just a post from earlier, or an email, should I say, that I sent, um, I think yesterday, I think it was, or no, this is last week. Sorry, this is an email from last week with just more detail about the Substack growth sessions that are going to be coming up from the 20th to 24th of April. And if you haven't got your ticket for that yet, please get it as soon as you can, because they genuinely are going. I'm only setting aside 50 spaces for this. If you're a coaching client or you're part of Catalyst Club, you'll get that by default. You won't be included in that 50. But if you're a free subscriber or a paid member, you need to get your foot in the door for that before they're all gone. So definitely, if you're thinking about joining this, and you're waiting towards the end of the early bird period, which is the 13th of April. Let me just double check that. No, it is 13th of April. If you want to be part of this, you want to get your ticket for this, I would advise you do it sooner rather than later, just because those spots are going to go, and I'm going to try and keep it contained to a certain size so that it doesn't grow too big, and then it's harder to answer everyone's questions and things like that during the sessions as well. So if you are interested in growing your Substack audience, I'm going to lay out what I have learned about how to do that over the last nearly 3 years, growing my audience to 35,000 subscribers. So if you want to see how I've done that and you want to ask questions live at the time, get your ticket. You can get that in. Just go to my profile. You'll be able to see the link to that on my homepage. I think it's the pin post on how to write for a living has the link and all the sign up details there. So the early bird ticket for that is $37 for 5 full days of teaching and interaction and a community and replays and all that sort of thing. It's only $35, $37. It's going to go up to $50 after the 13th of April. So if you want to get that, if you want to be part of that event with those 50 people who are going to be there, get your ticket as soon as you can. I'm not just saying this is like false urgency. I really just want you to make sure that you get it if you want to get it for the early bird price and within the 50 people. Okay, I'll jump back really quick to answer some questions while I'm here. So Pete has said, what are your thoughts on co-authoring a book? Not with me, but in general. I think the idea of co-authoring a book is pretty cool. I definitely think that if there's someone who you have a good vibe with, I guess, as another writer, and you're on the same page, and maybe you're in the same kind of niche and industry, but maybe have slightly different approaches and ways of thinking about that niche and industry, then yeah, I think it's definitely a cool idea. You could even do things like sort of like an anthology, maybe bring in a few different writers to share maybe like a chapter of a book, that sort of thing. But certainly, if you wanna co-author a book, I think that's a really cool idea. Again, you need to make sure it's with the right person, who's going to be on the same page as you for that. But yeah, it's a cool idea. Rita says hello. Avery says, I find myself going all over the place with ideas, but all within the same narrative. Advice on how to stay focused on one of them at a time, or should I be juggling them, i.e., writing essays, writing long form content, authoring my first book. Well, as somebody who juggles a lot of stuff myself and is kind of all over the place a lot of the time with the things I'm doing, I literally have about half a dozen plates spinning at any one moment. I would say if you have the time and the space to do it, I'm in a position where I do have a lot of time and space to do it because I work for myself. I'm not trying to squeeze it in alongside a 9 to 5 job working for somebody else. So I do have the time to do that, with the luxury of that. If you don't have the time and the space and the energy to have multiple things going at once, I would suggest focusing on one or two things primarily, and maybe put the other things to the back burner or working them in your more in your spare time. Focus, I guess, on the things that will give you more freedom longer term. So, for instance, if you, and I was speaking to someone about this yesterday, if you have like an offer that will genuinely generate income for you. So, if you've got like a consultancy service or a done for you kind of offer, focus more on that. Try and generate a bit of income first, to try and give yourself more freedom to then work on the stuff that maybe is more of a passion of yours, like writing a book, for instance. You might be able to start doing things like if you work in a 9 to 5 job, scaling back to part time. If you're able to supplement that with some of the other kind of stuff that you do, like consultancy, that sort of thing, and then start to kind of work in more of your passion project as part of that until the passion project itself becomes more of a way to generate income. And it can be the case; it doesn't have to just be like a hobby or just a passion. You can definitely generate income through what you're passionate about as well. But focus on the things that will generate income first, get those in place, and then see if you can work in your passion projects around that. I hope that's a halfway decent answer, Abraham. Sorry if it's not, but um, again, just kind of work around what you can balance. So if it's going to exhaust you to try and do too many things and burn you out, and then take away your passion and enthusiasm for it, don't go down that road. Just try and keep it lean at the start, and then build it up over time if you can. Gary says that's how he did it. And great to see you, Gary. Thanks for joining us. And again, I'll just keep putting this out there. If you have any questions, just pop them into the comments, or any thoughts on anything that we're saying in the course of this conversation. Ryan's here as well. Great to see you, Ryan. And again, if you want to join the Substack Growth Sessions, excuse me, make sure you get your foot in the door for that as soon as you can. Again, if you're a coaching client or a Catalyst Club member, you're going to get it by default, so you don't need to worry about that. If you're not in Catalyst Club or you're not a coaching client, then you do need to get your ticket as soon as you can. There only are 50 spaces. A lot of them are already gone. The early bird price ends on the 13th of April. So that's $37. It'll go up to $50 after that. So if you want to get that price, then get it as soon as you possibly can. Okay, Sherry has said, what are the dates for the Substack growth sessions? So hopefully you can see this on the screen. When does this work? It does work. Awesome. So it's from the 20th to the 24th of April. So that's in a couple of weeks' time. 5 days, Monday to Friday. If you can make sessions, if you're booked into it, if you have a ticket, you'll be able to get access to the replays. There'll be a community space where you can go into and you can share with everybody else, and you can watch those replays back if you can't make it. But you're only going to get that if you have a ticket for it. So make sure to grab that if you can. Sorry, Sherry, it's blurry on your end. Maybe you're watching on the phone potentially, but yeah, it's the 20th to the 24th of April. So hopefully you can get that sorted. Edgar, great to see you, Edgar. Yes, you signed up for Catalyst Club, and you already have your first one-to-one session with me booked. I'm really excited to do that, Edgar, and looking forward to diving into that conversation. Just as a reminder, if you join Catalyst Club, which is my private community, you get two 60-minute strategy sessions with me as part of that. So you'll be able to use those whenever you like, and we can work through some of the things you want to tackle as part of that. Think of it as a bit of a bridge between being a paid subscriber and being a full-blown coaching client. If you just want to be part of a community and get some feedback, get some motivation, get some um, accountability, I guess, and get a bit of one-to-one time with me as well to work through some things, Catalyst Club is a good in between. So make sure that you sign up for that if you can, if that's what you're interested in. But again, Substack Growth Sessions are coming up sooner, so make sure you get your ticket for that. Okay, so let's answer just a couple of questions about this. Hopefully you can see this on the screen. Again, I haven't really done an awful lot of screen sharing, but hopefully this works okay. Let's see, can I close that? Yeah. Okay, so I just want to quickly, for the next few minutes, just quickly talk about what is actually going to be covered during these sessions. In case you're wondering, again, you will have got this email if you're on my email list, or you can check this out on the How to Write for a Living website homepage. Just go there now after this if you want to, and check out this post in full if you want to read it in your own time. But I'm just going to quickly talk about it. If you have any questions about the things that I say in the next couple of minutes, just pop them into the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them while I'm here. Let's sip of coffee. Okay, so day one, we're going to cover content that converts readers to subscribers. So I'm going to talk about these bullet points, the psychological triggers that make people subscribe. go from being followers to being full blown subscribers in your publication. Big difference there of those two things. How to structure your posts for maximum conversion. So, and again, part of that, where to place CTAs, calls to action, so they feel natural and not forced. And where's the best place to put those in your articles, so there'll be a natural next step for your readers to subscribe or to even to upgrade to being part of your paid tier. And we're going to talk about headlines. So, how do you write a headline in a way that is more likely to, first of all, get attention whenever someone's scrolling through Substack, and then also deliver on the promise of the headline as well. So, I'm going to talk about a few different ways you can potentially do that. If headlines are something you're struggling with, um, day one will definitely be really, really useful for that. And again, I always say that you should spend a lot of time on your headline, almost, you know, 25%, is pluck a number out of the air here, but 25% of the time you spend on your article should also be spent on your headline, overall, because it's so important. You can have the most amazing piece of writing on Substack, but if your headline isn't good enough, if it's not going to get attention, it's not going to get the click, and then people aren't going to see what's inside the article itself. And then we'll also talk about how to turn your archive into a subscriber generating machine. So, how do you go back through your content and create things like a table of contents post or that sort of thing, or a hero post, that's going to turn people into subscribers. And each day I'm gonna share an exclusive little resource, little simple downloadable kind of things that you can use right away. On the first day, that's going to be like a high converting post checklist that you can print out. You can have on your screen and wherever you want to put it, and you can just kind of go through that checklist, and tick the boxes and make sure that your articles convert or will convert subscribers. So that's day one, all about content really. Day two is going to be about notes. So obviously notes are such a major thing. We talk about notes all the time. I share notes every single day. I've shared a few pieces about notes with paid subscribers about the best ways you can structure them. But we're going to talk about what makes people stop scrolling and actually engage with your notes, and the type of notes that will consistently drive profile visits and make people subscribe. Um, Timing and frequency strategies that you can potentially use. And again, Substack has its own inbuilt scheduling function now, which is great. So that's a big thing as part of that too. I'll talk a little bit about how to make best use of that. Um, how to stay visible on Substack without being annoying. I know this is a big thing because sometimes we can feel like we're being annoying. We feel like we're on Substack too much. We're being visible too often. And is that going to actually put people off wanting to subscribe or be part of our audience? So we'll talk a little bit about that, and sort of how to strike the balance between sharing value from your publication versus sharing authentically about yourself as well. And then turning notes engagement into newsletter subscribers. So, how does that engagement below your notes in the comments and things like that actually lead to people joining your publications audience as well? Day three, we'll talk about recommendations and collaborations, which is really, really important. And I think if there's a day that you're going to come along to that event, to those sessions, this is going to be a big one because recommendations were a real driver for me for a long time. They still are, but particularly in the beginning, having a really good solid group of other publications and other editors who can recommend your publication is so important. I don't think we do enough with it. I don't think we do enough with collaborations either. So we're going to walk through how to identify the right collaboration partners and opportunities, how to reach out to people in a way that doesn't feel like you're just trying to sell them something or it's going to feel kind of awkward. What makes someone want to recommend your newsletter without you even having to ask? So, gonna talk a little bit about that. Things like guest posts, cross promotions, different features like that that will help to grow your audience and reach a wider network of people. Um, how to build long term relationships, not just like one off transactions with people. So, how do we go about just really making friends on the platform longer term? I know that for me, I've made amazing friends on Substack. Some of them are probably hearing this chat today or maybe watching it later. And I know that for me, that's led to so much growth, so many amazing opportunities. And if you can make those friendships in an organic way, in a real way at the start, whenever you first join the platform, they will pay off so much further down the line in terms of growth and opportunities. And then we'll talk about the best ways to go live on Substack, like I'm doing right now. And there's definitely approaches you can take to that to make it easier for yourself. Okay, and then day 4, this will be the Thursday, how to repurpose your content. So a lot of people will already have a lot of content on other platforms. Literally was speaking to a coaching client today who was able to repurpose something from her blog from like literally 10 years ago and turn it into a Substack article and was still super relevant today. So we'll talk about how to go about doing that to save yourself time so that stuff that you're putting out there is not going to waste. So that content you previously created is not going to waste, but also how to take content you're writing now and repurpose it across different platforms. So the content multiplication framework, so that one article becomes multiple pieces, how to adapt content for different platforms because they're all a little bit different without just copying and pasting it. And actually know someone who's uh, working on an app or a platform and an application that's going to be able to do that kind of stuff really well. It's a pretty cool thing that they're working on right now. So keep an eye out for that. Um, how to repurpose your written content for audio and video as well. How to update and repurpose older content, as I mentioned, and how to build a system that makes repurposing effortless. So, how do you go about taking stuff that you've already created and turn it into something new? Again, super important because writing content is really, really time consuming. Going on Substack Live, creating podcast episodes, creating resources and digital products, it takes up so much time. So if you're able to repurpose things you've already created and spread them across the internet and spread them across Substack, it will save you so much time and effort as well. And then day 5, the last day is going to be about just how to engage on Substack in a way that builds loyalty with other people. So, how to create content that invites real conversation, building connection in the comments without spending hours and hours and hours in there. Email strategies that will increase open rates and engagement using polls, questions, and interactive elements effectively. And I've seen people do this really effectively, by the way, this kind of stuff. And it has really led to great opportunities for them. So this is really, really important too. And retention tactics to reduce churn and keep people subscribed. So this is all stuff that I've learned myself over the last nearly 3 years on Substack. And I'm just going to basically tell you what I've learned and walk you through these processes that I've been able to put in place. I started off like so many people on the platform um, didn't really know what I was doing, didn't know where I was going with any of it. I just joined Substack, thought it'd be a good idea to be here. Um, and yeah, it was sorry, Sherry, good to see you. I'm just gonna say goodbye to you because you're jumping off. But yeah, make sure you grab your ticket if you can. Um, for the Substack Growth Sessions. But this is all stuff that I had to learn myself. I was kind of flailing around in the dark. I did have other people out there who were creating amazing content at the time I was able to learn from. But just having someone walking you through that process for how to grow in the beginning on Substack is really invaluable. So I never done this before. I never done one of these sort of boot camp style events for a week. This is the first time I've ever done this by myself. So I don't necessarily know how it's going to go. But what I know is I love working with people in these kind of settings where it's live and people can ask questions, and it really energizes me. I think it's the most effective for me and for other people as well. So I'm really, really excited to do it. I would love you guys to join me for this. Um, as this says, you'll get the 60-minute live session each day, followed by the Q&A. After that, so you can ask some questions about specific situations, get real answers at the time. You get those resources, you'll get the recordings, and you get access to a time-limited private community space, which I'm sort of putting together at the minute for you guys so that throughout the course of the week, you can interact with each other. You can share your posts and your notes, ask questions in between sessions, get a bit of support as well, and then get all the replays in there too. So this isn't just kind of you put this on in the background, you listen to it, then you leave and you forget and if everything you learn. This is very much an interactive networking kind of experience as well. And really crucially as well, I should mention, after all this happens, within Catalyst Club, which is my private community, we're going to go from the growth sessions to the growth accelerator. So this is going to be a 5-week implementation cohort exclusively for people within Catalyst Club. So if you're part of Catalyst Club, if you upgrade now or any point before the sessions start, you get to be part of that 5-week cohort as well. So we're going to do weekly accountability calls live like this within that space, daily check-ins, implementation prompts. People will be able to provide support and give feedback on things as well, be able to share your notes and your posts and things like that, and support each other, boost each other for those full 5 weeks every single day. So, basically, this is where you're going to take what you learn in the growth sessions week, put it into practice with other people, so that you don't just do it for a few days yourself and then get burned out. But you've got people. Edgar, thanks for coming. Great to see you. Uh, so that you get that support and accountability and encouragement to keep going as well. So this really is for anyone who's really struggled on Substack to grow and to be part of something longer term, and they just want that kickstart. They want that chance to kind of really get things off the ground and just learn how to go about doing it in a really strategic, straightforward way. So that's the Substack growth sessions. As I said, the price um, for now until the 13th of April is $37, and then it goes up to $50 for the week ahead of the session as well. So again, I'm capping this as I said here at 50 people total. So once I hit that mark, I'm basically going to close the doors to it. I'll just remove the opportunity to buy the tickets. So if you want to be part of that, and again, don't hang about. Those tickets are going quickly. A lot of them are already gone. If you're yeah, just make sure you grab it if you can. It'd be great to have you there. Um, okay, I'm gonna stop talking now because I've been here for half an hour, which is longer than usual. Again, all of this stuff about the Substack Growth Sessions is in the post. It's the pinned post on the How to Write for a Living homepage. So if you want to go back through all this stuff that I'm talking about now, uh, that's where you're going to get it. So jump in there and go through all that. I might share this live as a podcast episode potentially as well, for anyone who wants to listen to it again later. But yeah, hope that was helpful for you guys. Um, yeah. Any more questions? I'll stay here for maybe another like minute. If you got any more questions or anything you want to ask about anything I've just said, if you're still here, feel free to pop that into the comments now. If I don't get any more questions, I'll just end the session. But I hope this was useful. Again, there's a picture of me. Join the Substack Growth Sessions if you can. This I really want to talk about this today because I really want this to work for you guys and make it successful for all of us together collectively. So, come along if you can. It's going to be really, really good fun. I'm looking forward to diving into that with you guys. Mark, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming here today. Okay, I think we'll wrap up the session now. So thanks for being here, guys. I love doing these office hour sessions with you. Thanks for coming along. It's the same time every week, so 4 p.m. UK time. I'll always send out a notification email about these sessions. Put it in your diary, whatever time that is with you. Just jump on the Substack around that time, and I will be here, and you can ask questions and get a bit of help. Paid subscribers can always ask questions in advance, and I can answer those as well. But yeah, thanks for being here. I'll see you really soon. Have a great rest of your week. Hope Substack's doing great for you. Hope you're safe and you're happy wherever you are. And I'll see you really soon on Substack.